Good morning, friends. In last lecture, we discussed about cosets, and in continuity with that, in today's lectures, we discussed about normal subgroups and quotient groups. So let's start with normal subgroup. So a subgroup H of a group G is normal subgroup if the left and right cosets coincides with each other. It means if AH is equal to HA for all A belongs to G. So if for a subgroup H of the group G, then all left cosets becomes equal to the right cosets, then we say that subgroup is a normal subgroup. And in some books we can get another definition of the normal subgroup, that is if G inverse belongs to H for all G belongs to G, and here this H belongs to capital H. H belongs to capital H. So basically these two statements are equivalent. We can prove that also. But for the discrete mathematics engineering students, it is just sufficient to take both as definitions only. Then the next thing, now as we discussed in the normal subgroup, if a group is a abelian group, then the left coset becomes equal to right cosets. So if a group G is a abelian group, then it is always a normal. It's all subgroups are always a normal subgroups. So here it is, any subgroup of a abelian group is normal subgroup, because if a group is normal, if a group is a abelian group, then and H is any subgroup of it, then the left coset will become always equal to the right coset. The second thing, G itself and the identity element only, we know that these are the two subgroups of the group G. They are always the normal subgroups, and any another subgroup are named as proper normal subgroups. Now let us take an example to understand the concept of a normal subgroup. So let us take a group G. This is a group G, basically matrices, in which we make this element as 0, a special type of matrices, and with the condition that AD is not equal to 0. Now let's make this as a group with the help of matrix multiplication. We know that in the case of matrix multiplication, identity element is identity matrix, and the inverse, to find the inverse element, now we can find the multiplicative inverse of this particular matrix. And if we see this matrix, what is the determinant of this matrix? The determinant will comes to be AD minus B, and we know that AD minus 0, sorry. And we know that AD is not equal to 0, therefore this matrix will be a non-singular matrix, so its multiplicative inverse exists, and multiplicative inverse will be the inverse of the group G with respect to matrix multiplication, and we can find the multiplicative inverse. It comes to be 1 by A minus B by AD, 1 by D and 0. So this is basically a group. Now let us take a subgroup of it, and then we try to check whether that subgroup is a normal subgroup or not. We know that matrix multiplication, the group under matrix multiplication, is not a abelian group. So it's not trivial that all subgroup of G will be a normal subgroup. So let us take a subset H, and this subset H is, let it be 1 B 0 1. Here B belongs to set of. Clearly H is a subset of G. Clearly H is a subset of G, and we can also prove that this is normal subgroup of that. For that, what we have to take? We have to take the two elements of the same type, two elements of H, and we have to find the AB inverse belongs to H. That part we can do easily. So let us check whether this is a normal subgroup or not. To check whether it is a normal subgroup or not, we will use the condition that if we take any H belongs to capital H, then G inverse should belongs to capital H for all G belongs to capital H. We'll try to check this condition. Now let us take H as 1 B 0 1, and G any element that is A B 0 D then we know that the G inverse will be from here, the inverse matrix will be 1 by A minus B by AD, 0 and 1 by B. This will be a G inverse. So what we want to prove that? We want to check what is the value of GH G inverse. So we want to compute GH G inverse. Means AB 0D H 1B 01 G inverse 1 by A minus B by AD 0 1 by D. So let's do the matrix multiplication. Let's do the matrix multiplication. So what will be the matrix multiplication? When we multiply this matrix, it comes to be A, then AB plus B, 0, it will be 0, and this will be D. Then minus 1 by A minus B by AD 0 1 by D. It's 1 by, not minus 1 by A, it's 1 by A. So when we multiply these two matrices, what we will get? A into 1 by A, 1. Then when we multiply this with this comes to minus B by D plus AB by D plus B by D, 0 into 0, 0, 0 and 1. So these two elements will cut each other. So it will 1 AB by D 0 1, and this naturally belongs to H. This is the matrix of this form. Here B should be a real number. We know that A is a real number, B is a real number, D is a real number. So AB upon D will be a real number. So this belongs to H. So G inverse belongs to H. It means H is a normal subgroup. Now let us take one more example. The example we discussed in the case of cosets also. Let's take Z plus. And the subgroup is 3Z plus. Now we know that the set of integer with usual addition is a billion group. So its all subgroup will be normal subgroup. So 3Z comma plus will be a normal subgroup. Now let us prove a simple theorem which will help us in defining the quotient group. So the theorem says if H is a normal subgroup of G, then for all A comma B belongs to G, H of A into H of B is equal to H of AB. Or we can say that the multiplication of two right cosets is again a right coset. Naturally, AB is also, if A belongs to B, A and B belongs to G, and A into B also belongs to G, because G is a group and it is closed under binary operation. So prove. So let us take HA into HB. So this will be H AH into B. We can write like this. We know that H is a normal subgroup. In the case of normal subgroup, left coset is equal to right coset. So we can write it like H of A into B, because AH is equal to H of A. So we can write it like HH AB, and H into H is itself H into AB. So H of A into H of B is equal to H of AB. Now we will use this particular operation to define the quotient group. So let's try to define the quotient group. To define the quotient group, first of all we define a set. So what is the set? So first of all, let G be a group and H is a normal subgroup. Of G. Now let us define a set G by H. Now this G by H is basically AH for all A belongs to G. Or we can say the collection of all left, we can take left or right both, so let's take right. Collection of all right posets. Or we can say it is a collection of all posets because it is a normal subgroup. In the case of normal subgroup, left poset is equal to right poset, so we can just write it the collection of all posets of H in G. Now we define the operator, same operator here. Now the operator is H of A into H of B is equal to H of AB for all A comma B belongs to G. And we clearly know that we just proved that it is true. So to prove that this is a group, we want to find the identity element and we want to find the inverse element. So if we talk about the identity element, we know that E is a group. So identity element belongs to G. So by this definition of G by H, HE belongs to G by H. And this HE is basically just H only. This HE is basically H only. So, and moreover, we know that H of A into H of E will be H of A, and A is equal to E's identity, so it will become HA. Similarly, H of E into H of A is equal to H of EA, which again becomes H of A. So clearly this element H into E belongs to G by H, and this will become the identity element of G by H. Now let us talk about inverse of the elements. For the inverse of the elements, now let us take, we have element HA belongs to G by H. So naturally from here A belongs to G. And G is a group. This implies A inverse also belongs to G. Now let us take an element HA inverse and H. So what it will be? It will be H of A inverse by the definition of the operator, and this will be equal to H. Similarly, if we take HA into HA inverse, then it will become H of A into A inverse, which is equal to again H. So it means the inverse of HA is HA inverse. Here A inverse is the inverse of A in G. So operation is closed, existence of identity, existence of inverse of every element. Since G is a group associative in nature, so its all subgroup will be associative. So nothing to prove, it will become a group. And this G by H is named as quotient group. So basically the quotient groups are the collection of all cosets of H in G, and the binary operation is H of A into H of B is equal to H of AB. So now let's move to the homomorphism and we will prove that. So now we define the homomorphism. So basically homomorphism is a mapping from a group G star to a group G dash. Here G is a group with the binary operation star and G dash a group with respect to binary operation not, and these operation can be same also. So a mapping F from group G to G dash is called homomorphism if F of A star B is equal to F of A not F of B. Here we can see that this A and B belongs to G, so we are taking the binary operation which is with respect to G. This F of A and F of B belongs to G dash, therefore we are taking the binary operation with respect to G dash, which is not. So a mapping F from G to G dash becomes a homomorphism if F of A star B is equal to F of A not F of B for all A comma B belongs to G. Moreover, normally we will write this expression as F of AB is equal to F of A into B, and it is sure that here the binary operation is with respect to G and here the binary operation is with respect to G dash. Now if this mapping F, this function F becomes 1, 1 and onto, then this homomorphism is named as isomorphism. So isomorphism is again a mapping from F from G to G dash such that F of A star B is equal to F of A not F of B plus function F, mapping F must be 1, 1 and onto. And if F is isomorphism, then we say the group G is isomorphic to group G dash. So now let's move to the next definition, that is a kernel of a function. Now again let's suppose F is a homomorphism from G to G dash, then the kernel F is a set such that in which we have all the elements of G such that F of A is equal to E dash. E dash is the identity element of G. Naturally this will be a subset of G. So what is kernel F? Kernel F is a set or a collection of all the elements of G which maps to the identity element in G dash. So what is kernel F? Kernel F, so F is a map from G to G dash. So kernel F means इसमें वो सारे एलिमेंट्स आएंगे सच दैट इसमें वो सारे एलिमेंट आएंगे A के G के such that F of A is equal to E dash. All those elements which maps to the identity element. Then next is the image of a function. So this image of a function is just same as the image in the case of functions. So image of F is F of A for all A belongs to G. So what we will do? We will take all the images of G in G dash, and this is named as image of F. Now we will do one basic result of homomorphism. So let F is a map from G to G dash. Now we have to prove that number 1, F of E is equal to E dash. Here E is the identity of G and this E dash is the identity of G dash. One thing we will prove this, and the second thing we will prove F of A inverse is equal to F of A inverse. Naturally this F is a homomorphism. So if F is a morphism, what do you want to prove that? A homomorphism maps identity element to identity element. The second thing, F of A inverse is equal to F of A inverse. So let's start with this. What we want to find? We want to find F of E. What is the value of F of E? So this F of E is basically F of E into E. And by homomorphism, this is f of E into f of E. So what we get? We get f of E is equal to f of E into f of E. And E dash is the element, is the identity of G dash. So if we multiply E dash here, it will not affect, because this Fe belongs to G dash, E dash is identity of G dash. आइडेंटिटी एलिमेंट से किसी भी एलिमेंट को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो सेम एलिमेंट आएगा. सो वी कैन राइट इट ई डैश इंटू एफ ऑफ ई इज इक्वल टू एफ ऑफ ई इंटू एफ ऑफ ई. सो फ्रॉम हियर व्हाट वी कंक्लूड? From here we can conclude that f of E is equal to E dash. And we can apply the cancellation law because it is a group. So we can say by applying the cancellation law, we can say that f of E is equal to E dash. The next result is what we want to find, f of A inverse. So G is a group, let A belongs to G. So we know that A into A inverse is equal to E is equal to A inverse into A. Now let us apply the mapping here. So what we will get? F of A into A inverse is equal to F of E is equal to F of A inverse into A. So by using the definition of inverse of element, what we can say? We can say f of A inverse is equal to f of A whole inverse. So this is the basic result of homomorphism. This is all for the today's lecture. In the next lecture we will prove very important theorem, that is fundamental theorem of group homomorphism. So thanks for the today lecture.